Hi, friends. Okay, well, I thought that I would come online, and I've had a lot of different people just reaching out and asking about what my experience as a person of color has been and what that has looked like. And I will share some more over the next couple of days, but specifically, people have just been asking me a little bit about like, how do I talk to Paul about race and what does that look like as a person of color? So I know some of you know me really well, some of you don't know me as well, but I am mixed, black and white, and I was raised by white people in a predominantly white community. And then now we adopted our son, and I am raising a super tall child with blonde hair, blue eyes, that is basically the epitome of white privilege. And so for me as a parent, one of the things that I look at is like my task, and I hope that all of you whom are white and are raising children look at your task to raise kids and raise a son who is aware of his privilege and really sets out to become an ally for people of color and just a human that seeks justice and seeks goodness. So Paul is 4. Our conversations look very different as a 4-year-old per se than someone who has older children. And we've started these conversations really young. Like, he knows like mommy is chocolate and daddy is vanilla, and we've had conversations around things like that. But what I think is really important in kids is to look at biases. And there are unconscious biases and we have conscious biases, and we all have them about race and culture. And you are not a racist person for having an unconscious bias, but I think that you are in the wrong if you leave those biases totally unchecked. If we never stop to make ourselves aware of what those biases are, if we never ask, like, why do I feel like this around this person, or why did I make that assumption about that person without even knowing them? Like, those are the biases that are built in just from histories of racism and histories of institutionalized all kinds of different institutions. And so we really have to stop and like ask ourselves, why do we have those biases? And with kids, the more people and differences that they're exposed to early on, and the more people that they're exposed to in a positive light and positive experiences, and the more conversations that we can openly have with our kids about race, hopefully some of those biases are not going to be ingrained in them. And so think of things like, who are you exposing your kids to? Who do they meet on the playground? Do they get to meet other cultures and races? Something that was really important for us when we picked our daycare was that it was really multicultural, and that's something that I have loved about it. And I know some of you might live in monoculture, a lot of monoculture. I totally did. I grew up in almost all white neighborhoods. And so I think that means that you have to work harder to expose your kids to other cultures. And so taking them to different community events and taking them to cities and parks where maybe there are other cultures, like making that conscious effort. Don't just say, well, we live in an all white community, and so that's that. Making sure that your circle of friends, that it's not just white, and the people that your kids are spending time with, that it's not just white. Think of the shows and the books and the toys that your kids are playing with. Representation in different areas has come a long way. It's definitely not where it should be. Like when I was a kid, there was no mention of mixed people, and most people could never figure out like what I was, because the idea of mixed people just felt like foreign. I had one black Barbie and one Cabbage Patch doll, and my grandma had to search to find those. And so I think that like having black dolls and action figures and toys, that is not just for black kids. White kids should have multicultural toys as well, because kids learn through play. You learn a lot. You will learn a lot also about your kids and the different things that they think and the way that they communicate by watching them play as well. And I know that it might be hard to find black dolls and black action figures, because I've looked for them. I know it's hard. I know they are more expensive, but make it a priority. So I really would challenge you who are parents, like, look at your toy shelves. Are they multicultural? Do they have a representation of other people and other colors? And then a big area for us is like the shows that you're watching, and are they exposed to characters that are of color? And I think the really important thing when we look at shows and when we look at books is that the people of color are the protagonists and the people of color are the heroes. They are not the villains. And that is something that I would emphasize like over and over and over. For Paul, like we do not watch, I don't have him watch shows where the villains are people of color. And that is just somewhere where I draw the line for shows. And then with books, making sure that, you know, there's representation in your books. And so there's kind of two kinds of books that I would say. There's those that are showing diversity and then those that are about race, and both are super important. So an example of what I mean, I'm going to grab one. So this is one of the books that Paul has, and it's The Wheels on the Bus. And like literally everybody is white. And there is no reason why there cannot be people of color in a book like this. And so when we talk about books that are not about race, like for example, as a kid, I loved Corduroy because the little girl in Corduroy is Black. And the book is not about race, but there is a Black character in it. And so that's something that is really important, I think, for your kids, just to see diversity. I really like thought through the books that we had over the past couple of weeks. And what I realized was we didn't even in my household, like we didn't have enough diversity. We definitely had some. A lot of books that Paul has are with animals in them. But then I took a look through the books that have people in them. And I really started to like investigate, like, do we have enough diversity in our books? And so we didn't. And so I bought new ones. I went out and I ordered a bunch from Amazon and Chapters and some of the different bookstores that were around so that our shelves were more diverse. And so like, here's one that we have had for a really long time that I really like. My Heart Fills with Happiness. Another one that we have had for a long time is like We All Went on Safari. And this is a friend of mine that gave a book to me. And I will say, like, when I gift books to friends, they usually are books that have people of color because I know most kids' shelves are not diverse enough. But we, like I said, and we have like Corduroy, we have, I like this one also. Miss Hook's Secret is another one that we've had for a long time and we really like. Robert Munsch, his books are actually quite diverse in terms of the representation of kids in there, so we like that. But we did go out and buy a few new ones, and so I'll show you some that are Paul's favorite right now. So we went and got this one called Rosie the Dragon and Charlie, and it's a great Make Waves, and it's a great one, and Charlie is a little Black boy. I ordered this one called Peter's Chair. We got, what else did we get? This one is Paul's favorite right now. It's called Monster Trouble, and it's about a little Black girl, and he loves it. Yeah, so those are a few. I'll make a post that has a list of like some of the ones that we have. But then it is also important that you have books that talk specifically about race. And so, or just like Black culture per se. So one of the ones I got, Robert Munsch, it's called Braids. It's kind of a mix of the two. But then one of the other ones I got is like this one called Mixed Me. And it's a book about a mixed kid. And it is like books like this, I got it specifically so we could have conversations with Paul about our family and like why mommy and daddy look different, and then that's okay. But for example, like I think it's so important that kids who are not mixed still read this book and read books about mixed kids, because they will better understand then why other kids' families look different, right? So that was one that we got. Another one, Marvelous Me. Another one that we got was just called Full of Love. And again, like this one's kind of in between. It's not really about race, but it does talk just a little bit more about like Black culture and food and what Sunday dinner looks like. And so that's another one that we got. So I will make a post and a list just of some of the books we got and what we're reading. But I would say like take a real look through your bookshelf and through your toys. And if they are not diverse, then take the time and prioritize it to become diverse. And when you go to your libraries, if you can't find books that are diverse, like talk to the librarians about how to make your bookshelves more diverse in terms of what you're getting. So those are a few of my thoughts on just kids and some of the ways we can talk about race with them. I will share other things over the next couple of weeks with you, and as I feel that I'm able to. But I hope that that just helps in some of your conversations with your kids and in your household and what that looks like. So thanks, guys, and have a great evening.